Welcome back to the Rodecast, guys. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm your host, Rod, as always. And in this video, we're going to be looking at another instance of business owners whining about the fact that ICE raids are having a negative impact on their neighborhoods and their businesses. And this time it's in Chicago. Last time we talked about it was in California. We talked about two different cities who are whining about the fact that deporting all the illegals is hurting their businesses and their local economy. So let's take a look at what they have to say here.
Local businesses are coming together to denounce ICE activities as well throughout Chicago.
Paris Schatz is live right now with the latest on this. Paris?
Yeah, Natalie and Anthony, there's some of Chicago's movers and shakers here in the business and civic community. As you mentioned, 30 local businesses, folks like John Rogers, the head of Ariel Investments. We have the Urban League represented here. We have the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce, Jack Levin, all coming together to denounce the Customs and Border Patrol and ICE actions and their aggressive raids. And one of the cases that
So basically, it's a bunch of venture capitalists, bankers, and other people who represent corporate America who have basically used certain kinds of loans to give money to these neighborhoods. They've invested in immigrants who hire illegals and who depend on illegals as their patrons. So what's happened here is a multi-pronged problem that these people have. First of all, their entire business model is based on immigrants and illegals shopping at their businesses. Okay, there's a variety of business here, and like small banks and local stores that have gotten loans from those banks, and they're all suffering. So they set up an entire system where they have to depend on illegal aliens as their patrons, and because of ICE deporting them and arresting them and detaining them, and the fear that comes of ICE raids, people are not patronizing these businesses that these people have set up based on criminals. Okay, their patronage, their customers are criminals. Literally, people who broke into this country are the customers for these horrible businesses who have no patriotism whatsoever. All they care about is money. Greed is their only religion, and they don't care about America, which is why they are whining now about it. They've gathered together to whine. Hey, we built our businesses on illegal aliens, and ICE is hurting our profit margins. Really, what did you think was going to happen when you set up a business system like this? I feel zero sympathy for these people. I hope your economy does crash, because then maybe other people will learn that using illegal aliens as your customer base is a very bad idea. And you should try to remove them as much as possible. And you shouldn't let them in the first place. So there's a multi-pronged problem here. They were here. So these people built their business model on the illegals. That's what's happened here. Now, they're not the ones who are responsible for letting them in. That will be Biden and many other administrations before him who also had lax immigration policies, including Republicans, going all the way back to Reagan. This is a long, multi-decade problem. Everything cannot be blamed on Biden, although he did make it worse. His immigration policies were horrible. Open borders, straight up, literally, even more than Obama. But nevertheless, this is a long-standing problem that they have capitalize on to make money. Now their business model is failing because the federal law is finally being implemented, and these horrible illegal taco eaters are being shipped out of their neighborhoods, and their business model is failing. And I feel bad for the white people who are left over in Chicago because they have to deal with this stuff, but you live in a place where your leaders have depended on illegals for their profits. Now you're paying the price.
And one of the cases they want to make is that they believe it is hurting the economy. They believe that folks are not patronizing restaurants or stores, especially in areas like Little Village. So they say they want to come together today without politicians. This is just a group of civic and business leaders to denounce these ICE aggressive tactics.
This is not.
And what is it going to do after they denounce these ICE raids? You think ICE is going to listen to these dumbbells who have set up a business model that depends on illegal aliens being their customers? Do you think ICE is going to feel sorry for you and stop their raids? This is the most pointless thing I've ever seen. But nevertheless, it's comical. That's why I'm making a video about it, because we all get to have a good laugh about it, because this is hilarious. These people literally build a business model based on criminality and using criminals. And now they're surprised that when the law is being implemented, the criminals no longer want to come and, be out and about. And also they're getting literally grabbed off the street and returned back to their countries, which is what should happen. Hilarious.
This is not about law enforcement. This is actually meant to undermine and to humiliate local authorities.
Hey, Dumbbell, local authorities can't remove illegals. And yes, this is about law enforcement. It just so happens that you don't like federal law enforcement when they remove your beloved illegal aliens from this country. You see, this one here has been making money off illegal labor. Now his business model is failing, like I mentioned, for the reasons I stated above. And now he's whining about ICE and trying to insult ICE. You are a jackass who's relying on foreigners to make money. You're disgusting. Okay, so give me a break about how ICE is humiliating local law enforcement. How? How are they doing that? ICE and local law enforcement address two different issues. ICE is federal. Local law enforcement's job is to address other crimes like theft, murder, things like that, robberies, okay, hit and runs. That's what they handle. ICE doesn't handle that. ICE is about immigration enforcement. It's in their name.
And to try and remind folks who really is in charge.
Yeah, you're not the one in charge. The federal government is in charge of immigration. So why don't you shut your tall ass up?
The economic repercussions of this continued onslaught, if left unchecked, will be significant. Workers and customers alike are afraid for their safety and staying home rather than risking arrest. Tourists are being
He's lamenting the fact that the criminals are afraid and staying home. He's on the side of the criminals. He's built his businesses based on criminality and criminals coming out to patronize his businesses. And now he's whining about it. Keep whining, bro. Your tears make me very happy.
Detoured from visiting our city. The needless unpredictability discourages consumer activity, especially hurting small neighborhood businesses.
That's a sad day for them. They deserve to fail if they built their business on serving illegal aliens. And most of those businesses are owned by either illegals or immigrants, and neither of whom deserve to be in America.
Depend on steady foot traffic.
So they're saying they would rather the federal government work with them, the business and civic leaders, although it does not appear that that's going to happen.
No.
Just today, we've already had dispatches of immigration actions around Skokie, and this comes one day after a major loss in court for the federal government, an injunction on the use of force against protesters. The judge in that case saying that this use of force attacks the conscience of Chicago, shocks the conscience of Chicago. Those are her words.
Yeah, those are stupid words. And that injunction doesn't stop ICE from doing their job. All it does is regulate the methods they can use to quell protests, which I don't really have a problem with. She does not control immigration policy. All she can do is rule on constitutional matters. And that's what she was ruling on technically about protesters and how they're able to express themselves. They should be. And I agree with that. But they cannot get in the way of federal agents doing their job. And she also said that in her decision. So this boy hasn't read the actual decision. The media is pretending like, oh, it's a huge loss for the government. That's what he just said. No, it's not. She didn't say anything different from the past judge, the other judge, who said the same thing, which is that people should be able to exercise their First Amendment right. And I agree with that. Nobody disputes that. They just can't put their bodies on the line and block ICE agents from doing their job, which is what some of these dummies have been doing. That's why those agents deployed the tear gas, which they were correct to do so. And the appeals court, in the limited cases that have gone up to them, have ruled in favor of ICE and against these horrible judges who are siding with illegal aliens over the law enforcement who are trying to do their job. But nevertheless, ICE agents do have to abide by regular rules for law enforcement, which is that you use force only in reasonable circumstances. And ICE should follow that, certainly. But nothing has happened to change the way that ICE does their work. They're still going to hunt down the illegals, and they're doing that. The judge's decision came out yesterday, and ICE just did multiple raids today in Chicago. So nothing is being slowed down. They're pretending as if, oh my God, ICE has suffered a loss in court. No, they haven't.
So these enforcement actions are going to go on, but today you've got the business community. You've also got a separate event of faith leaders coming together to denounce what's happened.
Yeah, they can pray to Jesus all they like. We're still going to ship the illegals out of here. If you love them so much, get your church group to go to Mexico and help them. They're not going to be found here because the illegals are going back to their countries. And if you love them so much and if you love Jesus so much, go help them in their own countries. Okay, don't expect us to keep these horrible, disgusting people here because we are not. We're shipping them out, and Jesus, nor you or your business are going to get in the way of that. And that's the bottom line for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one.